Hello to all you beautiful people of the internet. Welcome to another Kettleborough file, and this time we are looking at Ben and Billy, the twins. They are the um they are the children of Donna and Alan. Their stories are mostly together, so that's why I am doing them both in the same video. So first we're looking at Ben. He is male, his hair is light brown. In issue 2, he is 4, and in issue 61, he is 5. And before the apocalypse, he's probably a preschool student. Before the apocalypse, in Gainesville, Georgia, Ben and his twin brother, Billy, were born in 1999 to Donna and Alan. When the outbreak began, Ben's parents heard that a safe zone was being established in Atlanta City. The family traveled to Atlanta. However, they arrived late and found that the city had been overrun with zombies. They soon bumped into Dale and the Atlanta survivor camp, where they began to live in hope that the military would soon rescue them. After the apocalypse in the prison, before the prison, he doesn't mention it. We do see them around a lot, in the first book, not much is known; they're just seen there. In the second book, they're mostly excited to see like the animals around the farm. So there's not much story with them in the first two. In the prison arc, Ben has a hard time coming to terms with the new zombie-infested world. Although affected by the death of his mother Donna, Ben appeared on the surface to be wholly disinterested. Once the survivors settled down in the prison, Ben and Billy lost their father Alan to a lurker during the early exploration of the prison facilities. They are subsequently adopted by Dale and Andrea. Seemingly unsurprised and unaffected by the death of their father, the twins thereafter refer to Dale and Andrea as their parents, rarely referencing their biological parents again, which disturbed me a little bit. After Rick, Glenn and Michonne returned from Woodbury, the group was on high alert for the governor's eventual retaliation. Dale and Andrea came to an agreement to abandon the prison should it ever become compromised, initially failing to convince most of the remaining survivors to abandon their new home. After the governor's first attack on the compound, they were able to convince Glenn and Maggie, with Sophia in tow, to escape with them and the twins. And on the road arc, over time, Ben begins to display the early warning signs of a psychopath. He is often seen in the background playing with the other children, but when examined closely, it becomes apparent that he is teasing or roughhousing with them. At one point, Billy discovers Ben poking the carcass of a cat. It is implied by Dale's dialogue that he had likely tortured and killed it. He forces Billy to remain silent about the incident. Days later, Ben brutally slaughters Billy, convinced that no matter what happens, people will always come back after they die. After locking him away, the group debates on killing Ben to protect themselves, but takes no immediate action. I did like that conversation, like whether because it's a kid, whether they should really kill a kid or not. It was a really good scene in the comic. Later that night, Carl sneaks into the van where Ben is locked up and executes him. He is buried alongside his brother. It was a really dark moment for Carl, but also it shows that Carl can do things that no other people should do, especially a boy his age. So that was Ben. So let's move on to Billy. So here's Billy. He is male, his hair is light brown. In issue 2, he's age 4, and in issue 61, he's age 5. And before the apocalypse, like Ben, he's probably a preschool student. I'm sorry for the noise in the background. I live in an apartment place. Before the apocalypse, in Gainesville, Georgia, Billy and his twin brother Ben were born in 1999 to Donna and Alan. When the outbreak began, Billy's parents heard that a safe zone was being established in Atlanta City. The family traveled for Atlanta. However, they arrived late and found the city had become overrun with zombies. They soon bumped into Dale and the Atlanta group group, so that's the Atlanta survivor camp, where they began to live in hope that the military would soon rescue them. So after the apocalypse, like I said before, nothing is much known in the first and second book. We just see them around and such. In the prison arc, Billy doesn't seem to understand what is happening in the world around him. After his mother Donna died, he didn't seem to understand what had happened, although he was very sad. When the survivors settled down at the prison, Billy lost his father to a lurker attack. He, along with his twin brother, were later adopted by Dale and Andrea. When Rick, Glenn, and Michonne arrive back from Woodbury, Billy, including the rest of the prison survivors, begin to prepare for war. I don't mean like he got his gun ready and such, because he's still a little kid. It's most likely they were saying like, "Oh, I'm just getting ready to escape." In the Herschel's Farm Redux arc, before the governor returns with his forces, Dale decides to leave with a few others in the RV, including Billy. Billy leaves the prison along with Ben, Dale, Andrea, Sophia, Glenn, and Maggie. Unlike his brother, he shows no signs of mental illness. And in the Road to Washington, D.C. arc, on the road to Washington, Billy is brutally stabbed to death by Ben, who's convinced that Billy will come back, indicating that he didn't destroy his brain. It's most likely that he was put down by a member of the survivors, as he was buried alongside his brother after Carl executes Ben the night after Billy's death. So those were the twins, Ben and Billy. A very tragic story in the comics. I found it interesting that Ben had two adaptations. One was when he was a teenager, and the other, along with Billy, was adapted with Lizzie and Mika's story. Let me know what you guys think of these two characters in the comments down below. If you had control over these characters' fates, what would you do with them? I'm very interested to see. If you like what you see, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. If you don't like what you see, you can either dislike or you can just go, I'm not really bothered. Have a good day.